so Detroit Pistons fans, I want to talk about this recent trade with the New York Knicks. So we got Dennis Smith Jr., we gave away Derrick Rose, we also got a second rounder in that deal as well. So as I was looking through my comment section, a lot of people were positive about this deal, but I do want to highlight and discuss some of the people who were negative about this deal. I want to discuss their opinions and views about it. And basically the main consensus that the people who didn't like this deal, they didn't like this deal for two reasons. Number one, they thought that Dennis Smith Jr. is just not good enough for Derrick Rose. And secondly, they felt like we should have waited until the trade deadline. So let's talk about the first one. Now, they first feel like Dennis Smith Jr. is not adequate enough value for Derrick Rose. So when it comes to big trades, especially in the NBA, well, I know this isn't technically a big trade, but just trades just in general in the NBA, if you're giving up a good player, you're most likely never going to get back that return in value, okay? They say it all the time. The James Harden trade, you didn't get the value back. The only trade that I would say you ever got value back for, and it's still a wait and see type of thing for me, honestly, is this recent Anthony Davis trade where the Pelicans ended up picking up X amount of picks, and they ended up getting, obviously, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, the whole squad basically, and obviously they ended up getting Zion because of that as well. So that's one that, and even that situation is still a wait and see type of thing for me. So I'm saying all of this to say that you're never gonna get the same amount of value that you're giving up. So if you're giving up a Derrick Rose, you're not going to get a Derrick Rose in return, and you're not going to get someone better than Derrick Rose in return. If you remember, the Lakers last year offered Alex Caruso and a second-round pick for Derrick Rose, okay? If we would have made that deal, Pistons fans wouldn't have been happy as well with that one. So I'm just saying all of this to say that you will never get back the same amount of value that you're giving up when it comes to trade like this, when you're giving up a good player. So that's what I want to say about the first point in terms of why people didn't like this deal. That's what I feel about the first point. Now, the second point about them saying that we should have waited to the trade deadline, I kind of agree to a certain extent on this one, but I disagree at the same time, because yes, I do feel like if we would have waited to the trade deadline, you look at a team like, let's say, for example, I don't know, the Golden State Warriors, right? Let's say at the trade deadline, because the Golden State Warriors, I believe currently they're around the 6th or the 7th seed. Let's say around the trade deadline, they're 6th seed, right? And they're looking at their roster, they're thinking this roster isn't good enough to make a deep playoff run. And then they look for trade assets, and they look and say, hey, let's take a shot on Derrick Rose, and then bam, we make a deal. The Pistons get assets, the Warriors get Derrick Rose. They say we should have waited for a possible situation like that to come, because a lot of teams at the trade deadline, such as the Warriors and many others, would have been desperate for a player like Derrick Rose. So they say we should have waited for playoff teams to get more desperate for Derrick Rose. And on that point, I kind of do agree. But at the same time, I disagree, because Derrick Rose, he's one of those types of players where I know in recent years he's been more healthy, but just in general, you can't really trust Derrick Rose's health. Now, yes, again, like I just said, I know he's been more healthy in recent years, but just in general, I don't trust the health of Derrick Rose. So I feel like if you wait to the trade deadline, you do run the risk of having Derrick Rose getting injured, and if he gets injured, then you won't be able to trade him. So that's why I say yes and no, because it's a double-edged sword when it comes to trading Derrick Rose and waiting towards the trade deadline to move a guy like him. So Pistons fans, I want to know how y'all feel in the comment section below about this deal. Did the Pistons make a mistake? Should they have waited longer to move Derrick Rose? Or do you feel like we got adamant, I guess you could say adamant, or I don't know what the word is, the right amount of value for Derrick Rose? Obviously, you will never get a Derrick Rose type player back, but what we did get back in Dennis Smith Jr. in the second round pick, are y'all cool with that? Or would y'all have preferred for us to wait to the trade deadline for more assets? So let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 1K. I'm out.